Hi data lovers, my name is Angie and this is Insight Bites with Dexibit. Today we're talking about demand and visitor management to power growth and getting into the details of online to on-site conversion. I think about visitor conversion in terms of the funnel of first getting visitors into the website, then getting them to the pages about visiting and hopefully booking a ticket if they can, and then getting them on site. We see a clear correlation from most venues between online and on-site performance, and you can test out this theory by surveying your own visitors. But these days, most people will first check in on your website before they come to see what your opening hours are, what your pricing is, what's on, and more. So optimizing these conversions versus the drop-offs online and then transferring them to on-site is important to ultimately drive growth and visitation. If you are looking at that first step of getting visitors to your website, you'll be wanting to watch your website referrers, which is the sources that bring traffic to your site, and looking at cost per click, what you'll hear marketers call CPC, if you're paying for that traffic through advertising. Once those people come online to your site, check out how many end up buying a ticket online, and then you can then find out the cost per conversion. One e-commerce tactic you can implement is by analysing how many people get close to buying a ticket but don't actually make the purchase. We call those abandoned carts. Those people may have filled out their details like name and email address but failed to check out with a viable payment method, and you can follow them up with an automated email and coax them back in. And keep an eye out for the finicky differences and definitions here of your web metrics. Take a first look at your unique visitors. This is the number of people who come to your website, and then split that by new versus returning to see how many are visiting more than once. You might find that in the visitor life cycle of dreaming, planning, and buying, that they might do that more than once. And then check out your session versus page views, how many times people are visiting, how many pages they're looking at on each visit, and your bounce rate, being the number of people who come to a page and leave without doing anything else. They're probably the people who didn't find what they were looking for. If you do expect your website visitors to look at more than one page, that number matters if you're paying per click to get them there in the first place. It's an indicator you're either targeting the wrong audience or your landing page isn't really capturing their attention. You can interpret dwell time carefully too. A short visit can mean that a visitor found what they were looking for really quickly, or that they didn't find what they were looking for at all. A long visit can mean a visitor was really engaged, or that your website was operating sluggishly. What's more important is great design thinking and user experience testing with real people, especially around your online ticketing interface. Make sure it's quick, easy, simple, and intuitive, and keep an eye on your monitoring metrics around those users who are encountering errors. Particularly if your visitors are not booking online and they're instead just walking straight up, it can be tricky to know what that link is from the digital realm into the real world, but it is possible. We use a digital correlation to identify how strong that link is and the common lag time between someone browsing your website versus walking in the door, and then how that differs between the referring channel to your website, such as Facebook, or between geographies of, say, local versus domestic versus international tourists. This kind of insight really helps when you're planning to promote an upcoming public programming schedule, or working out how far in advance to spend for the holidays, or where to orient your spend and when. And a hot tip there, make sure you put a link to your website in all of your ads, especially the paid ones, or at least in the comments of your organic posts, so that you've got that rich data. Otherwise, your users might be opening a browser and searching rather than clicking on a link from an ad. So now that you're a convert into the world of funnel metrics, let's dig in. If you and your team would benefit from demand insights to help get more visitors through the door, talk to us about Dexibit's forecasts, insights, dashboards, and reports, including for demand. And I'll see you next time for another episode of Insight Bites, or check out Dexibit.com for more on visitor management and big data analytics for places people love.